What's up again, everybody? Just in case you missed it, we have some updates and some new spoilers for the Dark Phoenix Saga Dice Master set. Remember, this is a set that is going to be a draft pack format set, just like we got with the recent Infinity Gauntlet set, and it was supposed to come out, I think it was supposed to come out like next month, actually. But we do have an update on the release date and how it's shifted around with the pandemic landscape, as well as some brand new spoiler cards to look at. So let's dive into those right now. Last week, around Friday I think it was, I'm pretty sure this was Benzino Scott that I saw post this very first, but I could have missed someone posting it before. But Ben is one of my longtime patrons, so I'm giving him the shout out because why not? Am I right? He went over on the solicits page and noticed that it had been updated. Let me show you what he saw. I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to turn this on, pa-pow, and boom. Okay, so normally this is where we were expecting, and I really put that in quotes because honestly I wasn't expecting, but this is where it originally had fallen that we would get the Dark Phoenix Saga set over here in October. But unfortunately, when you see the October slate for Dice Masters on the WizKids solicits page, it's at nothing, and I actually kind of expected this to be the case because of the way that they've pushed around some of the sets, particularly with Infinity Gauntlet. So now, this is now set for November, a November release. And what that basically means for us is that we can kind of expect it to basically be here at the November or the December stretch of things. Things are starting to really pick back up over here stateside when it comes to distribution and shipping, and I'm pretty sure that they had these proofs and everything squared away as we were coming and rounding the corner about to get our hands on Infinity Gauntlet, so I do expect this to ship sooner rather than later. I would be shocked if this got pushed into the next year, but you never know. I guess it could, right? You never say never. Nevertheless, I do expect to see it either in November as it's posted here, or maybe it falls to December, but even that seems a bit far-fetched. We'll see going forward. But in addition to that, there were also some brand new spoiler cards that were shown in Game Trade magazine for this month. And I found these posted over here on the Facebook page for houserulesgaming.com. They are a board game store in Florida, so I highly recommend going out and thanking them for posting these because I didn't see them posted anywhere else. Nevertheless, we're going to dive into these spoilers. I tried to take their images and kind of cut them and optimize them so they're a little bit easier to see. We'll see if I pulled that off or not. Nevertheless, give them a huge thank you, and I shout them out right now for the pictures in and of themselves, because like I said, I hadn't seen them before this, so shout out to them for posting those up. So let's get into it. The first one we're going to talk about is Bishop I'm Back. This is a 4-cost Shield X-Men affiliated character with the Bishop stat line of a 125, 136, 2. I can't make that out. Is it a 246 or what is my brain? 247, something like that. I'm going to make it bigger for myself. Just you wait, Henry Higgins. Just you wait. Here it comes. It's a 256 stat line. Was it always a 56? I don't remember. Nevertheless, the ability says if you spend this die as energy to field a character die, add this die to your prep area, which is really interesting because if you're choosing to use this not as a character but sort of like a pseudo energize effect where you're not really rolling it for a character but you're just using it to pay as energy for fielding characters, all of a sudden this can be something that preps itself turn after turn after turn if you are trying to field character dice as your win condition. Just really cool design on a card, and I like that they're really exploring that design space. I think it's really neat. This one, on the other hand, is absolutely oppressive. Dark Phoenix Destructive Force is a 7-cost bolt villain with the 155277388 stat line that says, when an opposing character die damages Dark Phoenix, she deals that much damage to each opponent. I like how they phrase this as each opponent, as if we're going to play like a multiplayer version of Dice Masters, which someone should get out, like, just go make that. Someone just go make a better multiplayer version of Dice Masters, like a Commander Dice Masters, straight up. Someone make that. Nevertheless, it also has this wonderful global. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it. It says global, pay a bolt, and KO one of your character dice. The next die you purchase this turn costs 2 less. So yes, this card not only is a sick win condition when paired alongside of things like, oh, what is the action from Justice, what makes everything block? Why am I blanking on Doomlance? There you go. This pairs just disgustingly with Doomlance, but it also just straight up has the Blue Eyes White Dragon global from all the way back in the Yu-Gi-Oh set, which is just an oppressively powerful global. This card is a meta staple, and it's not even printed and in people's hands yet. Crazy. Speaking of another interesting meta staple, here we have Gladiator Magestor. Maybe it's Magister. Magister Collark. I don't know what affiliation this is, but he's a 4-cost fist character with the Gladiator Mohawk affiliation. Affiliation goals right there. Everyone's like, I want the Gladiator Mohawk affiliation. He's got the 055 166 077 stat line. You know, the standard 077 on top stat line. But you're not going to buy him, or maybe you will. He's a 4-drop 077. You pay 1 to field him only once, like only on one side. Nevertheless, the only ability that's on him is a global, and the global's insane. It says, pay a fist when you attack. Your character dice can't be targeted by action dice or global abilities. Yes, they brought the Doom Caliber Knight global back, and they just printed it on a 4-cost fist character with a 7/7 on top. That's really good in draft, and that's just really good all around in constructed play. I'm not sure I like that this is coming back when we have God Catchers around, but you know, I guess this is what we live with. This is the timeline we live in. It's 2020, people. All right, Jean Grey, Marvel Girl, 5-cost Bolt character, X-Men affiliated. A 133255366, I think, stat line. It's kind of hard to see because of that glare that happened when you take the picture. Nevertheless, this has Founder, and Founder is not a keyword, but it is a keyword. It's not a keyword that does anything in and of itself. It's a keyword, or affiliation, if you want to think of it that way, that is referenced by other cards and therefore provides a benefit. So if another card says, do this, this, and this, if you have a Founder in your field zone, Jean Grey would fulfill that stipulation. So let's see what the rest of her text says. While she's active, your opponent must pay 1 extra to use a global ability. And we saw this printed on Oracle in the olden days, and we saw it most recently printed on Pip the Troll. But in addition to that, it says, while you have a different X-Men character die in your field zone, Jean Grey is free to field, so you don't have to pay the 1, 2, or 3 fielding costs, which are prohibitive. You can just field her for free, which is probably better in draft than it is in constructed. Lylandra, which I believe this is her very first foray into the world of Dice Masters, also has the Mohawk affiliation. Someone in the comments is going to tell me what that affiliation is, and I'm going to feel really dumb. But if that's you, thank you in advance. She's a 3-cost shield character. She's got the 133, 135, 156 stat line. No text except for a global that says pay a shield. Once per turn, if you've purchased a character die this turn, you may draw a die from your bag and add it to your prep area. This is the Promo Robin Global. I don't think it was printed on regular Robin. This is the Promo Robin Global that we saw way back in the day, where it basically just allows you to draw a die after you've purchased something. So not the most powerful thing in the world, but this is on a 3-drop with good stat line. I would pick this up in draft, definitely. And I'm thinking about all of these in draft because this is a draft set again, and hopefully by the time we get this, we will be able to draft again wherever you're living. Hopefully you've already had that opportunity. That would be wonderful. That would spell great things for your community, but for those of us that haven't, hopefully by the time we get this set, we will have that access. Madeline Pryor Aspiring is a 3-cost mask character, double villain affiliated, the Hellfire and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants affiliated. She's got the Madeline Pryor stat line from the previous set she appeared in, which was X-Men Forever. She was in the box. The 013, 014, 124 stat line. And she says, while Madeline Pryor is active, if an opponent draws an extra die during their clear and draw step, prep 2 dice from your bag. It's kind of cool. It's a 3-drop mask. It could fit onto that team that goes alongside like Nebula that deals damage when they do that, and the 4-cost Macho Man that forces people to draw dice. So you could have something there. That's kind of interesting. It reminds me of like the off-the-wall play that was Tabasco Rogue's Tabaxi Rogue, if you know what I'm saying. The Tabaxi Rogue from back in the day, where you were dealing damage based on forcing them to draw dice during the main step. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Magneto, founder of the Brotherhood, 6-cost mask character, Brotherhood of Evil Mutants affiliated, a 144-257-368 stat line. He says, while Magneto is active, when one of your Brotherhood of Evil Mutants character dice is KO'd, KO target opposing character die. So if you could, like work out where you could just pop one of your own things off, you could just pick one of their things to pop off as well. That's pretty cool. The global is also pretty nice. Pay a mask. Once per turn during your turn, if you have no dice in your prep area, you may draw a die and place it in your prep area. So it's the Villainous Pact Global printed on Magneto, which is both thematic and flavorful, as well as being interesting because now you have the option to put this onto your team instead of onto your basic action slots. So it just kind of begs the question, do you actually want to do that, or do you want to leave that sort of relegated to the basic actions? Mutant Research Program is a basic action. It's a 2-cost basic action, and it says if you have at least 2 active Founder character dice, so here's an example of what Founder could do for you, draw and roll 3 dice. Otherwise, draw and roll a die. Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Superhero Registration Act, where when you played it, it drew, and did it prep? I think it drew and prepped you, or maybe it drew and rolled you. I don't remember, but it drew you dice. And your opponent had the ability to KO one of their character dice and prevent one of those dice from being drawn. So you'd either draw 3 dice or you draw 2 dice based on what your opponent did. In this instance, it's based on what you did. And it's also cheaper. That was 4. This costs 2. So now if you can get 2 active Founder character dice, you get to draw 3 dice and roll them, which is just crazy. Just crazy for a 2-drop. But if you don't have that ability, this draws and rolls you a single die. So the question is then begged, how cheap are Founder characters, or how easy are Founder characters to get? And if they are pretty easy, this looks really interesting for ramp. Phoenix Firepower is a 6-drop bolt X-Men affiliated character with a 155277388 stat line. And it says when fielded, deal 3 damage to target character die. So that's not too flashy. We've seen stuff like that before. But it also says this, Energize, deal 2 damage to target character die or player. So here we have a 6-drop that either when fielded deals 3 damage to a character die, could be yours, could be theirs, or if you miss it on the double bolt sides and get that instead, right, you deal 2 damage to one of their character dice or one of your character dice, I guess you could do as well. Or a player, which is really interesting. Plus you can use this to hit a player, and then you can pay the bolts, or pay one of the bolts, I should say, to use the Iron Lad Global and prep a die. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I kind of like that. This is the second to last card we'll talk about because one of the cards that they put in here I don't have in the slideshow. I'm going to pop it on afterwards because I think it was already spoiled, but we're going to talk about it anyway because I want to. Professor X Uncanny Leadership is a 6-drop mask character, X-Men affiliated, obviously. He's a 115-217-319 stat line, obviously. And he says, when fielded, spin an opposing die to its single energy face. Okay, so in order to do that, you have to pay 6 for this guy and then pay 1, 2, or 3 to field him. So that's asking a lot just to spin an opposing die to its single energy face. But it also says, if you roll this as Energize, move an X-Men character die from your used pile. I shouldn't say character. Move an X-Men die from your used pile to your prep area. So if you miss this, things dinging everywhere. If you miss this, all of a sudden, now you have the opportunity to prep over X-Men dice, which is really interesting. Now, unfortunately, I think this is too expensive still for that effect. Why are you paying 6 to prep over a die from your used pile when you can just cycle your bag a lot better? But nevertheless, here it is. And the final card we're going to talk about, I know it looks a little rough around the edges. I didn't cut this one out in card shape, I apologize, but I wanted to talk about it, so I just kind of cobbled it together really fast. This is Jubilee X-Men Field Leader, a 4-cost bolt X-Men character die with the Jubilee stat line of an 021-133-243 stat line. This is a max 5 super rare, people. And this one says, while Jubilee is active, when you field a character die, she deals 1 damage to your opponent and 1 damage to target character die. This is the old school Human Torch ability reprinted, and that ability is so strong. And here we now have it on Jubilee for 4, so very similar to what we were seeing way back in the day when we had access to the Fantastic Four and the Human Torch. I love this ability. I love burn teams myself over combat damage teams. That's just my own personal like play style. So I love that this is coming back, and the fact that you can pair this perhaps, and this is kind of a pipe dream because they're both kind of expensive, you could pair this with the super rare Thor and you could just do as much burn as possible. That's choice to me right there. That's choice. So these are the spoiled cards. And I'll tell you what, I am hyped for November already. I hope you're putting aside some money. It's going to be towards that holiday season. It's going to be that Thanksgiving time, right? We should get some like leaves to go down on the screen. Some like fall leaves, football, turkey, Dice Masters, X-Men. It all kind of fits together, right? I hope you are looking forward to this as much as I am. And I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please consider doing the like and the subscribe thing. That helps the channel numbers grow. And when the channel numbers grow, more people see Dice Master stuff, and then they want to play. And that's awesome. As always, everybody, thanks for watching.